Hey guys, Mark here again, and today we're going to be talking to some huge YouTubers and getting their take on how to grow on YouTube. The YouTubers in this call had a lot of great things to say and amazing advice to give, so sit back, relax, grab a cup of tea, and get ready to learn a whole lot on how to grow on YouTube. Let's jump in. All right, so let's start with Matt. How's it going, Matt?
I'm good, how are you?
Pretty good. So you want to just tell us a little bit about your channel and what you got
Sure.
going?
Yeah, geez, I don't have much going on, but I'm MattShea. Started making gaming videos in summer 2013 and just kind of kept doing it. Here I am, 1.8 million subs.
Cool. So let's go to Justin.
Yeah, my name is Justin. I run the channel Eckhart's Ladder. I do Star Wars, science fiction, movie stuff. I started last year in about February and then went full-time then, and now, yeah, full-time. And
All right, Charlie, you're up.
I'm Charlie from TheFamilyBovine. We started about 2.5 months ago, and we're on about 500 subscribers at the moment, and that is just generally Let's Plays and all that sort of stuff.
So is it Welsknight? Am I pronouncing that correctly? Yep. Welsknight?
Yep,
right.
Welsknight, or Wells for short, whatever.
Wells.
I run a family-friendly gaming channel, do a lot of Minecraft, other games similar to Minecraft. Have a second channel as well where I just do whatever I want for my own sanity. Been doing YouTube for about 3.5 years and have been full-time for about 1.5 years.
Awesome. All right, so like I said, the way it's going to work is I'm just going to ask, a bunch of different questions, and you guys can choose to answer it any way you like, and any one of you can chime in at any point in time. So, first question, Matt, you're up for this one. So what did you find to be the most effective strategy for finding new audiences?
Basically, just getting in on new games, like, for example, the Hunter Primal when it came out. This just sticks out off the top of my head. I had a video out on that within like a couple hours after the game went live. And like I immediately, as soon as it went up, it must have just went into the search because instantly I just started getting hundreds of views on it. It was back when I was a lot smaller, and that's what worked best when I was small. Now it's a bit different now, but like, yeah, just getting in on things when they're hot and fresh is a great way. Like Goat Simulator was really popular for me. Besiege, when it came out, was super popular for me. Games like that, they do really well when they're, brand new games. Sure.
Oh, yeah. So you'd be surprised how many developers are more than happy to email codes in advance of video dates, regardless of how big your channel is. Yeah. Like when it might have been Subnautica when it first hit early access. Like we had that game pegged 8 months before there was even a beta version released.
Yeah. And
a lot of it's just researching like Steam Greenlight and looking at these games that are up and coming, looking at news articles. Eventually you get to the point where you kind of know people in the industry, and you can, they'll kind of ping you and be like, hey, this is a game that's up your alley, and so on and so forth. But, even as a relatively small creator, you can email a developer and say, hey, I'm really interested in your game. It looks great. It looks like something I want to try. Could you send me a key? And then very often they'll send you a key for it, and they'll say, hey, no videos until this date, but they give you the key in advance so you can produce that content beforehand.
Which helps a lot, because then you can get your video out as soon as it releases, and you can really soak up views.
Yep, and early uploaders like get such an advantage when it comes to search rankings and stuff. Like, if you're even a day behind, you lose out on a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down now, like, because we do stuff like League of Legends and PUBG, it ends up like we're just looking for like the least competitive tags we can find and just capitalize on that. So it's like looking for scraps, essentially. I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's one way to do it. I mean, the other thing too is though, like, there's this idea that you can't be popular on YouTube if you're doing things that other people are doing, right? Because it's so oversaturated. Like, that's a word that gets thrown out a lot. There's too many people doing like when I started about 3.5 years ago. I can't tell you how many times I was told you'll never get popular playing Minecraft. There's too many people playing Minecraft. Well, here I am, 3.5 years later doing this full time.
Did you have specific things that did well? Like, did you I
had
niches in Minecraft.
Yes, I mean basically, I actually wrote a guide in the Let's Play subreddit called "The Market Within the Market," which still gets linked around there fairly often. And the idea is, when you're a small channel, you only have so much reach for search rankings, right? Like you're not going to be able to compete with the larger channels for the term Minecraft. It's not going to happen, right? Like if me and Matt are going head to head for the same search terms, he's going to beat me every time. Like there is no, it doesn't matter, you know, that I'm full time and I get millions of views. It doesn't matter. He's way bigger. He's going to absolutely crush me for the same search terms. So the idea is to go for those niche terms and those terms that Matt's not trying to go for, you know? So like my channel, the first like big series that I got was my very first series, which was trying to rank for Minecraft 1.8 single player survival. And like, that's a mouthful. And there's no way that some big Minecraft channel is going to try to rank for something that specific, right? So as a small channel, you go for those smaller terms, and then you're not competing with the big channels. You're competing with all the other small channels that are competing. And it levels the playing field exponentially. And then as you grow, you leverage that increased weight that you have to go for better and better and better terms over time.
All right, so question number 3. This one goes to Charlie. As a new YouTuber, what are you doing to sort of stay motivated and keep creating content?
My inspiration to just keep going is understanding the long reach, the journey. Before I started anything, I acknowledged that, okay, this is going to be years, you know, like it's not going to be weeks, months. So just do it because you find it fun. And it's more of like a little library of content for friends. Whatever comes after that is just generally a bonus. So in a nutshell, just don't expect anything and just do it for a personal reason first. And if anything happens after that, then start treating it like a business, essentially. So
yeah, we're gonna go with Justin.
Sure.
So what communities really helped you to grow your channel?
To be honest, like I read the advice on the subreddits, the various subreddits, partnered YouTube and NewTubers, but I found more useful than like actually reading the generic kind of vague advice was finding somebody who does work in your niche and kind of not copying them, but seeing what works for them, what doesn't work, and if you can, talk to them too. But just reach out to people. You know, like people are pretty eager to help each other, I find.
Yeah, definitely. That's sort of my outlook on it as well. Like I started this channel just because, you know, I really, really love tech and I really love filmmaking and I love teaching both of it. So, you know, just creating content that I enjoy doing, like I can sit here and I can, you know, shoot a video and then spend the next 10, 12 hours editing that video and not have a care in the world because I'll be, you know, enjoying myself. And I think that's one of the most important things to keep in mind as a small YouTuber, as, you know, if what you're doing is what you love, then, you know, you're going to have fun with it and you're not going to mind the, you know, the lulls and views and whatnot. Go to Welsknight or Wells, whichever you prefer.
Doesn't make a difference. Either one.
So what do you think is the most vital personality traits when it comes to making YouTube videos?
Man, you gotta want it. Like, just drive. Drive is really important. Like, if you want it bad enough, you get there. You're gonna get videos that don't do well. You're gonna get all these different things, and you have to be able to, you know, not let that mess with your head. And that's like basically work ethic and persistence are just so incredibly important.
Justin, how important do you think it is to find a niche that isn't really filled on YouTube? And I targeted this question for you for a reason.
That's the most important thing, in my opinion. Like, you've got to think, like, why would you watch your own videos? I think that's a key thing. Like if you were just putting yourself in someone else's shoes, like, would you find your content and when would you watch it? So for me, when I started, it was, you know, there were videos that weren't made that I wanted to watch. I guess it would give me, you know, my foot in the door. And I think it's important that everyone finds that foot in the door. If you can do that just through, sometimes some people can do it just through sheer quality. Like their videos are just so good that even though they're doing, you know, what everyone else is doing, they're just so good at it that people pay attention, which is an option. But I think, you know, really specializing, at least early on, is is the most important thing you can do.
Yeah.
I really like that because when we started, I think we made that pact where like, okay, we got to go in arms swinging. Like we have to give the production quality of the audience that we want rather than the audience that we have. So
Yeah,
we really upped the quality, you know, and it cost us money. Well, me money, you know, to get the artwork done. It cost me time to do the intros and outros, and that's one of the things that people say, oh, you know, this quality of video doesn't match your subscribers. And soon that does reflect. And we've seen that, you know, in the past week, we've grown over 100 subscribers purely because like people said this quality of video is really good. The only negative is we can only churn one out a week.
I think the most important part, I think experience is more important than quality.
Yeah.
Right.
Because like I see a lot of people who are under the impression that they need to have like this kind of a setup to start YouTube. You know, you need a $600 microphone and $1,000 preamp, and you need Premiere Pro, and you need acoustic foam on your walls and all this other kind of stuff. And the thing is, like, the only part of your setup that you can't purchase as long as you have enough money is experience.
Yes.
Like, no matter what, when you're first starting behind a camera, you're going to be awkward. You know, if you don't have a background in like performance, it's going to be weird. It's going to be awkward. And it doesn't matter how good your equipment is. You're still going to be awkward and weird. Like that's just the reality of it. So I think it's better to start early and upgrade stuff as you go.
I've got one more question, and I'm going to address it to all of you again on the topic of advice. So if you all had just one single pointer that you'd want to give a new YouTuber starting out, what would you say to them?
Here's the main piece of advice I always give YouTubers. Find a balance between what you want and what your audience wants. So if you're first starting out, it's a bit more complicated, but if you're an established channel and you have this game you want to play and that game you want to play, if you have a handful of games you want to play, find the one that is going to fit best with your audience and play that. Don't take games that you hate and play those just for views, and don't play games that you know are going to do terrible, because that's also going to hurt you. Find that middle ground where you can enjoy something and you know your audience is going to enjoy it as well.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right. Wells?
I'd say the best advice I can give is learn everything you can possibly learn about YouTube itself.
Yeah.
And like the way that it works, because YouTube itself is kind of a game in and of its own. You know, if you learn the thing that separates successful channels from unsuccessful channels is how well they know YouTube, how well they know SEO, how well they know how to, you know, deal with trending topics and what'll be good and what'll be bad and stuff. Like the best thing you can do starting out is learning absolutely everything you possibly can about YouTube. Because it doesn't matter how good your content is. If you can't put your content in front of people, you're never going to grow. Yeah, you can make the greatest content in the world, but if somebody can't find one of your videos on the site anywhere, it doesn't matter how good your content
Marketing is the most important thing, and you got to keep people around once you get them to the video. But make sure you can get them there first, then focus on keeping them there.
Yeah, definitely. Charlie?
I'd say be a bit ferocious. When you edit your video and you put it up, your job is not done. Just get your content out everywhere. When you're small, it doesn't matter. Just get it out there in front of people's faces. And then even though that conversion rate is probably 0.5%, you're building a pool of core audience, and then that grows bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's what causes a snowball.
Definitely.
Yeah. And speaking of like ferocity, like work your butt off.
Yeah.
Like if you want it bad enough, you'll find time to make it work. There was when I had a full-time job and I was still doing 2 to 3 videos a day. Like I was working 100 to 120 hours a week, and I made it work because I wanted it bad. Like there was a lot of my rule was I was not going to sleep until my videos for the next day were done and upload. That was the rule. And sometimes that meant no sleep. Sometimes that meant 2 hours of sleep and lots of coffee, but I got it done. And I think that's hugely a contributing factor to where I am today.
Yeah, I think you guys mostly covered it. I think working with people can be good. I mean, for me, it's especially once I reached kind of that middle stage, that like 40 or 50,000 subscribers, like that's when I think I made the real connections with the people that I was working with. And now with the community feature, especially, like I've got a group of, 4 or 5 YouTubers between 75 and 300,000. We'll take turns promoting each other's content through the community feature and, working together and, doing collaborations. And, we're also just friends. It helps, especially when, you transition to doing it as a full-time job. I think it really helps to have people who, you can talk to, because some of the stuff that, YouTube is definitely one of the best jobs in the world, but some of the stuff that, we have to deal with is kind of shitty. So having just someone that you can talk to about that sort of stuff and who understands what it's like when, a video underperforms and, who you can bounce ideas off of is really helpful.
Perfect. I don't know about you guys, but I learned a shit ton of stuff here today.
Yeah, me too.
So I think it was an awesome conference overall. And yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Awesome.
So that's it for the YouTubers Growth Conference. I learned a whole lot, and I really, really hope that you did too. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, hit that like button and subscribe to show your support. And as always, have a great day.